Newsom says he is fed up. There are no more excuses. He says the state has done its part, providing plenty of funding to get encampments cleared up. He wants to see the results now. Governor Newsom made the announcement here in Los Angeles yesterday. He joined Caltrans to clear several encampment sites.
And we had our big body challenge today. 50 pull-ups, 100 push-ups. We try to get under 5 minutes. How'd you get?
We got close. That was about 5:25. You were right behind us.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Punch Up Pod with Lila and Pat. Thursday Media Inanity. Pat, my friend, how are you? I have barely had time to miss you.
Yeah, and we barely had time to catch up before the show, but great to see you as always. I just came back from, if anyone knows Sacramento is about 20, 30 minutes from Davis. UC Davis is my alma mater. I was doing work down there at a sorority house, which was very interesting.
Coming your way.
I cannot share too many of the stories, but it was very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure. With your mask, they barely noticed you. You could have gotten a lot of insider knowledge there, huh?
Yeah. Well, one noticed me for sure, but that's yeah.
Uh-oh.
A thing. And I did catch a homeless person pooping in their dumpster. So that was nice. Interesting that Davis says, yeah.
That's horrible. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Total callback with this fly from yesterday.
Fly is back.
The fly is back. That's disgusting. I don't like that at all.
It's awful.
That's not good. That's not good.
Yeah. And that's, right out in broad daylight near a house full of girls, women, but young women, but it's
well,
we're probably going to come back and install all these lights for them because they just moved into this house.
Got it. Yeah. More lighting is good, and more public bathrooms would be good. Higher wages, lower cost housing, public housing would be good. So many different
healthcare, please.
Layers to that. Yeah. So hello, everybody. Welcome. Please make sure to like and subscribe, smash that notification bell. There is a person online, an account whom I just started following. This is the account COVID. He tracks where Novavax is and just does like daily updates. Biff 234523. And I've been following him just recently and found that there was a place near us. Ralph's is our Kroger's in California. Kroger's. They had Novavax. I called. My husband and I run over there. Yeah. We go to the pharmacy and she says, no, we don't have Novavax. I was like, I just called. So they go look. Oh, yes, we do have Novavax. Do you have an underlying condition? Which I thought California was one of the states where they were not even going to ask that. And also where it was just going to be free with or without insurance, or all insurance was going to take it. So I said, yes, we both have underlying conditions, which I feel like is a healthy white lie because whatever, I'm moving time. And we do have people who are immunocompromised in our lives. So, and then she looks at our prescription. And by the way, sorry, go back 3 weeks ago, all the Rite Aids closed near us. That's where our prescriptions were. There was a big thing. Oh, they're all going to move over to Ralph's. This Ralph's here. So she looks at our card. It's Blue Cross of California and Express Scripts. We're in, the entertainment mecca, whatever, of the world, or one of the two, right? And we have Writers Guild health insurance, which is Blue Cross and Express Scripts. They don't take Express Scripts. So now all the Rite Aids are closed. Kroger's, which is one of the two biggest grocery chains in the country, does not take this, ancillary, whatever, prescription insurance that partners with the entertainment industry, whatever. And so it's $200 a shot. So we left. I'm so mad.
You're saying the charge to the public without insurance is $200, and I really thought it's still not covered. It's not covered anymore. It's unless your health plan.
Yeah. So like now I need to go look. It's not at our CVS yet. It's not at our Walgreens or Costco. So there are places that will take it, but Kroger, like I've actually never, wherever we've been in the country, because we've had the same health insurance for 30 years, never been denied anywhere. And the fact that Kroger's, which is one of the biggest grocery store chains, doesn't take our insurance, which is, I think, a pretty common one. And that so now, like, how many more pharmacy chains are going to close down and get wrapped up into Kroger's or Albertsons, who now want to merge? I mean,
you're going to go into Walmart soon for your prescriptions, you know?
Yeah. Well, and, you know, we have gotten it at Costco, but, you know, it makes me so furious. None of this should be happening. You know, you should be able to go get your vaccine and not have to.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
And you're helping public safety from a government position. It should be like, hey, let's go back to where we actually give people cash to take the damn thing. You know, like, like incentivize people to take this. And we're doing the opposite. We're putting in barriers.
It's really gross. But I will say, yes, Susan, absolute racket. It's just despicable. I've had so many horror stories just this year, and they're not even like the worst of them, but just, you know, an extra few $1,000s that they decide after the procedure we no longer.
But there is good news. Your rodent is dead, and thank Tooth.
Thank you.
Am I pronouncing that right?
Tooth. I don't know. Thank you. Cheers to you. Okay, can I just say thank you for the call back? It smelled so bad in here yesterday, and anybody who is watching, I thought when I walked in to start the show, I smelled something, and I thought, oh my God, there's a dead rat somewhere, because it smelled terrible. My husband was here, so it wasn't just in my head. The Orkin guy came today, nothing anywhere. The smell is gone, but that damn black fly is still here. So gross. Anyway.
You're saying they did not find a dead animal?
He went up in the crawl space, and he went underneath the crawl space. Like, no. And the smell is gone, which, I mean, I guess that just means maybe another animal came and took it away. Two F's.
If we weren't on air, I would wrap my head around what it could be, but
I want to on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need to do thinking for you here.
So, you know, because this Thursday edition starts later, and we had decided initially that, you know, we're going to try to keep it a little shorter than our Sundays and Wednesdays, which have been rolling out to about 2.5 hours. We didn't want to have the pressure every week of trying to find a cheers and a one good thing, because that can be difficult in these times. And yet today we found a couple, so we wanted to share so we could at least start off with something happy. As we talked about, Italy has been amazing with their general strike, shutting down ports, but then it became shutting down everything, shutting down mass transit. Students left their classes to join the strike. And as we know, there's at least, I think, one Navy boat from Italy and one from Spain joining the flotillas to protect them from our ally, Israel, who has made it very clear that they are labeling all of these peaceful people on the flotillas who are just trying to break the siege and bring food and aid and baby formula to Gaza. Israel was drone striking them 2 nights ago. They have drones going around them. I mean, it's really despicable, and we know that they just act with impunity. So it's amazing that these Navy vessels are coming to join them. And I think the Romans felt very proud of what they had accomplished. So here's just a little snippet of them reacting to the strike today.
Bravo, felicissimo. Perché? Guarda, perché quello che sta accadendo è bruttissimo. Vorrei lasciare la macchina qua e venire con voi, guarda, ti giuro.
Cioè lei sta in macchina bloccata sulle tangenziali a Roma, che tendenzialmente è una cosa che odiamo tutti.
Però ci piace oggi.
Perché?
Beh, perché è un motivo importantissimo. Infatti ho detto che bello che ho sbagliato strada.
Sono vedo quelle gente che mi piacciono, capito? Bravi.
Non la vedo arrabbiata per questa cosa.
No, io sono contenta.
Perché è contenta?
State manifestando per la Palestina, no?
Sta roba è importante.
Importante.
Tu sei giovane, è importante.
È importantissimo.
I just love that. Chin chin salute.
Yeah.
I love
Italians have such a great energy all the time, but
Yeah.
like I like the old lady, like, what? You don't support the Palestine?
He's
Obviously,
like, why aren't
Italian,
you
not my
annoyed?
terrible accent.
Yeah, why aren't you annoyed? She's like, mi dispiace, no, ma importantissimo. You know, like, what are you talking about? And like the camaraderie and the joy of everybody coming together and doing something and actually feeling like they're having a bit of an effect. It's just,
Yeah, and I mean, you contrast that to us, and every time there's a stoppage of traffic, people are like, fuck this, you know. But they're just like, hey, and I think even that, if we stop traffic for Palestine, it would be very different than how people interact, unfortunately, with some of the, you know, Black Lives Matter road shutdowns and things. I think it's just the whole world is basically in agreement, and this is a genocide. So I think you would even get support here for it.
I think so too. And I'll tell you that, you know, I feel like it's interesting. I don't know who the journalist or just the interviewer was in that, but, you know, it's like, oh, aren't you annoyed? The traffic, things are shut down, the trains, you know, whatever. And everybody says no. And it's always framed that way. And we do that here. Our journalists do that all the time. They'll talk to the striking workers and blame the work stoppage on them, and not, you know, like the reason that there's a work stoppage is because of the greedy billionaire CEOs, right? The reason that there's this big strike happening in Italy is because of the genocide. Like, that's who you're mad at, not the people trying to affect some change. And I think even in the US, if it's framed properly, people feel that.
Right.
Yeah, you know, it's, yeah.
And look, we're all just experiencing helplessness around this issue. So like, this is a moment where you can be out there with other people, like, hey, I'm glad I'm here for this thing, because we got to do something. So here I'm contributing something. I'm going to be outside my car, happy about it. Let's go.
Yeah. Like, what's more important than stopping a genocide? And, you know, so the sort of big story that we're going to cover today is the shooting down in Dallas at the ICE facility that killed, I think, 3 people. And the way, you know, of course, right away, the Republicans have, you know, blamed the left, as they always do. But in all of these shootings, it seems to be isolated. I mean, especially young men who aren't part of community and don't have social interactions. And I think, you know, the US has done so much to ensure that we've all become so isolated. So I think that's the part of the solution is connection. You know, they always say, like, with people who are addicts, that the solution or the antithesis of addiction isn't abstinence, it's connection. And I think that is so poignant, and you can see it in their faces.
I think so. And look, you know, on the left, we kind of scoff at the male loneliness epidemic that they try to spin. And it's largely because a lot of men are just shitbags and they've been in power for so long. And we have such a male driven society. And, you know, a lot of this loneliness is, I think, driven by choice, but a lot of it isn't too, you know, a lot of it is cultural changes of the changing of the times. And,
I mean, I think
part
it's
of it
city
too.
planning. Like, I think it's capitalism and city planning, right? Like, when you go to Europe, there are huge swaths of cities where there aren't cars, where there are what they call third destinations or third place. It's not your home, it's not your work, it's just another place to socialize and be with people, bringing people together. And I think there's been a concerted effort in this country to remove us all from each other, to put us off away from cities, to make cities unaffordable, to make public transportation not so reliable, to put us all in our separate cars with our fast food. Like, I definitely think that
Yeah,
was intentional.
And regardless of what you can afford in life, most people have a phone, which gives you access to dopamine via social networks, things like that, your friend network that you don't actually know. It is a real thing. And I do think on the left a little bit, like, I'm not one of those people like, hey, how you treat me is going to change my politics one way or another. Right. But you have to look that it will for young people that are very impressionable. Like young people are susceptible to like, hey, who are my friend group? Right. So I think some of the narrative that like all men are bad kind of stuff goes a little too far on the left. And I think some people need to be more accepting, like
I totally agree.
being a man isn't a choice like being a cop is. So like, yes, a lot of men are fucking evil and shitty. And
I mean, a lot of people
systematic.
Yeah,
we have to change the systems, but
you know how we could fix it from the very get-go? Teach men to sit to pee.
Never. I won't even do my part on that one.
That would change some toxic masculinity right there.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
MAGA now.
Because the truth is, I mean, a lot of even liberal left, whatever, will say, oh, it's because of COVID and the shutdown and the lockdowns, which first of all, were like, 5 weeks, not really, whatever. But, it was not as long as how people want to remember it in hindsight. Plus it was necessary. That was for community. Actually, that was like to me, that awakened something in our country that was really missing, where we talked about what you do for other people to try to keep everybody safe. But like the rest of the world also did that, and they are not shooting up, schools and ICE centers. Although, I mean, schools, nobody should ever shoot up a school. And, the horrific thing about this is the 3 people who died were detainees who were killed, plus the shooter.
Yeah, that's where, I mean, we talked about it before, but like violence needs to be targeted. If there's violence, it needs to be at the people that deserve it. And that's the problem with just an environment where, violence is so accepted is not necessarily right, because you have a lot of people that point at the wrong people. Wrong targets, not careful. Luigi Mangione. Hey, perfect. I'll give you a little Italian gesture, perfect.
Come on. And, did you see that Trump and his mad tweeting and his administration's tweeting about all of their different feelings and evidence and how he's a terrorist have possibly truly damaged the prosecution's case? The federal judge orders the Department of Justice to stop making prejudicial pretrial statements after Trump retweets various.
And he wants accountability on who did it and why. And, there's more to it than that even. So I say I don't know. It could be a female.
Yeah. The federal judge. Yeah. But so, yeah. So, okay. Speaking of, just for anybody who has not yet seen, this is sort of the basic rundown on what just happened yesterday in Dallas at an ICE facility. Wait, was that the right one? Where's my thing? Dallas shooting. Yes, this is it. Sorry.
Officials on Thursday said the gunman who opened fire on an ICE field office in Dallas, Texas, likely acted alone. According to a collection of notes the suspect left at his home, his intention was to terrorize ICE agents and minimize harm to detainees at the facility.
These loose notes included a game plan of the attack and target areas at the facility.
Here's the acting U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas, Nancy Larson.
He called the ICE employees people showing up to collect a dirty paycheck. He wrote that he intended to maximize lethality against ICE personnel and to maximize property damage at the facility. He hoped to minimize any collateral damage or injury to the detainees and any other innocent people.
One immigration detainee was shot dead and 2 others were critically wounded. No federal personnel were injured in the incident. Within hours of the shooting Wednesday, the FBI released a photo of an unused bullet found inscribed with the phrase anti-ICE. Earlier on Thursday, FBI Director Kash Patel said the suspect had searched for apps in August that tracked the location of ICE agents. and downloaded a list of local Department of Homeland Security facilities. The perpetrator, later identified as 29-year-old Joshua Yan, was a Dallas area resident who previously attended a community college and had worked as a solar panel installer. Larson told reporters that the suspect was found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound after he opened fire from the rooftop of a nearby building.
Okay, I don't trust anything that comes out of Kash Patel's mouth, especially like, we showed a few days ago, he put out another tweet about Tyler Robinson, the alleged killer of Charlie Kirk. This is after they've said, this is our guy. He's a leftist, a trans leftist, violent extremist ideology, whatever. Kash Patel writes this long post about, I'm hearing all of the questions and the skepticism. We are investigating the angle of the bullet, why the camera was removed, his notes, how the gun was, taken apart and put together. I mean, so after they presented their case to arrest the alleged killer, he is then putting out on Twitter, I hear all of you people who are skeptical about it. We're still investigating all of these points that you have made that don't make it add up that this actually is the killer. So that's Kash Patel.
Yeah, we're going to get back to you with a story that makes a little more sense because you didn't buy that last one.
I mean, it's insane. Like, I feel like they're ruining their case because they cannot control themselves from just like typing whatever comes into their head. There's no filter. But like, who's ever said anti-ICE? I've never heard that.
Yeah.
Fuck ICE, abolish ICE.
Completely anti-ICE, like anti-fascist or something.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
But to your other point about, look, you if you're a judge, a prosecutor, you are not allowed to prejudice your jury ahead of the trial. And so that's the whole point of anyone with authority talking about the case. When you're presenting this as a guy who's guilty already, right off the bat, you're doing something wrong. But when you're falsely representing facts, especially, this opens it up. You could have the whole case, and then we find out right before the ruling is about to be made in the case that this person watched CNN, and on CNN he lied about it, and he didn't disclose that in his jury, questionnaire. So then the case is thrown out, and it costs the government, $10-50 million, to try this case again, and justice is never served. So, yeah.
And I mean, truly, it's so sad because already the people who are being detained, 3/4 of them have no criminal record, so they are just innocent people trying to have a better life. They're not the people signing up to knock people's head into the pavement and round up Black and brown people, those immigrants. And it just feels like injustice upon injustice upon injustice for these detainees, obviously, being murdered like that. And then, just like with the Charlie Kirk killing, right away, the script is these violent leftists and their ideology. And there's just, first of all, no proof that this guy is a leftist. And also that, there was also a white supremacist shooter on the same day in Colorado, the day that Charlie Kirk was killed. They're not talking about violent right-wing extremism, which we know is a much bigger problem in this country.
Absolutely it is. It's all controlling the narrative, and that's why you don't, as Democrats, come out and embrace Charlie Kirk, because look, you're making him out to be some hero that everyone should be we should all be so sad that we lost his great talent and his reaching across the aisle. That's how they try to present his debating, like, he disagreed, but it's all civil. Well, no, he's a fucking dirtbag. And you're normalizing that, and you're playing into this narrative that the violence is on the left, which it isn't. I mean, there's some, but it's not. We have a white supremacist problem beyond everything.
Yeah, a Christo-fascist white nationalism, and Also, I think 75 people were slaughtered in Gaza yesterday. Like each one of those people, you know, you don't see Jimmy Kimmel getting up and mentioning each one of those people's names and ambitions and hopes and dreams and their lovely wife and children. Like, we're going to take the time out to do, you know, statues and all this hagiography for Charlie Kirk. They now have in Oklahoma, the superintendent of schools has ordered a TPUSA station in every single, I don't know if I can't remember if it's school or high school.
I think it was high schools. Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. A TPUSA chapter in all the high schools. Like, how is that? And TPUSA is, by its own nature, it includes religion as part of the organization. So like you're legislating that these schools must bring in kind of a church group, basically.
Yeah. And I was sort of interested, you know, I mean, I don't have hope in anybody. You know, we were talking yesterday about how Kamala said that she thought that the titans of industry would be the guardrails against fascism, which is just sort of the most ignorant, ahistorical statement.
Okay, Warren.
Yeah, like, but I was surprised that the guy Ryan Walters, who's the superintendent of schools in Oklahoma, was on Fox News, and she did have like the slightest bit of pushback, which surprised me. Just if we want to take a quick look at that.
Ask you this because it strikes me that understanding the impetus to want these chapters to spread all across the country, and let's put up the numbers because the outreach of young people who are requesting these chapters is enormous. 60,000 inquiries before Sunday, 120,000 post Sunday. But should it be established from the state government down into the schools, or should it be something that's driven by the request and the desire on the part of students from the bottom up, so to speak?
Yeah, no, good question. No, we do have the request from the bottom up. We've seen a record amount of students from every county in our state that want a chapter. We have teachers that want chapters, parents that want chapters. So we have folks in every school district say we want one. What we have seen are teachers unions, woke administrators trying to block them from happening. And that's what you can't do. This is an organization that's about free speech, creating free thinkers, patriotic Americans. This is exactly, I mean, Charlie Kirk's vision is tremendous for the country. I've never seen anything like it here in Oklahoma. The mobilization here, and frankly, it's obviously a much bigger national movement. And you see Charlie, his life taken so horrifically. President Trump almost had his life taken horrifically. These figures have stepped up on the national stage to continue this fight. We've all got to step in and make sure that we're winning this fight for the future of the country.
So this is not a mandate from the state education department, just so we're clear.
Yeah, look, we're going to have them in every school because we've already got requests from every school. So that makes it very easy.
You've received requests from students at every single school in Oklahoma. I just want.
It's not a mandate. Yeah, no, it's a mandate. Every single school wants it. And you know what? Who cares? Like, we're supposed to have certain constitutional rights in this country. And yes, the, politicization inside of your school and the introduction of religion as a chapter. Like, I don't even understand how ROTC's in schools, actually.
Oh, that always bugged me. I mean, they had that back in my,
me too. Yeah. Back in my day.
When you're talking about clubs, look, they've had religious clubs have been a thing forever. They're just pretending that this is some democratic thing trying to stop them.
Right.
Which maybe it's happening in some places, but largely if you're going to form a group outside of the class time,
right,
that's just based because you go to school together. And so you have friends, who cares? Like I don't think that's a real issue, that exists already.
And to make it seem that the people who are protecting some of there's so few foundational aspects of the United States that make us the United States. Like, what makes us a free country, which I know we really aren't anymore, and we don't have a democracy and all of that. But like, when people are speaking up in favor of the very things these wackadoos say they're protecting, like, what are you fighting for? freedom isn't free. America, like, the land of the free, the home, like, what? So which religion?
Well, we need a socialist party of America in every school. Let's do that. Let's counter that.
Yeah.
And let's see them, because obviously they're going to fight against that happening. They're going to say it's communism, and we can't have the Red Scare takeovers of our high schools. So the legislature
Kamala would be the first in line to tell them that too.
Right. That would be bipartisan.
So, okay, going back to the shooter from yesterday at the ICE facility in Dallas, Ken Klippenstein, who's a great independent reporter, I'm sure most of you are already familiar with him, and he did the same thing right after Charlie Kirk's murder. He talked to friends and family of Tyler Robinson, so he reached out to do the same thing with this person, and we have the article that we'll share, but I haven't seen a single other journalist do that. They are all taking the words and evidence, lies, whatever, from Kash Patel and an administration of right-wing liars. And I would say the same thing if it were the Biden administration or you're not supposed to just take what's handed to you and be a stenographer. You are supposed to go out and do some investigation, right? Because so right away.
Absolutely. And just so you know, I am watching our vid grid on the side here because I'm trying to watch the breaking news.
Yeah.
Just so you know, one of them has Hillary on, so we're going to pretend that's not happening. Another one's got Matt Gaetz on talking about
Oh my
God. But there is one covering the shooter on ICE. So, but I'm sure they're going to have some of that later. Maybe we'll pop in for some of the coverage.
If anything looks, interesting, let us know.
We'll do. Because and the breaking news today, I don't know if we're going to cover it at all, is that James Comey indicted on 2 counts.
Interesting.
So we'll get to that.
Crazy.
All right. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, and if you see something cool come up, the only one of these high profile murders that seems to have an alleged assassin who was politically motivated, possibly from the left, is the Luigi Mangione one, right? Like if he is the person, if his manifesto and his writings and his studies, it does seem that, but that's one, because so far, none of these other people has any indication that they were a radical leftist. That's not really what the radical left does. So,
and look, the way that, look, if you're on the left, you care about everybody. So you don't want victims of your crime that are innocent. And so whoever did the CEO, healthcare CEO, did it right. Can I just say that? Like, there was no risk at anybody else getting hurt other than that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't believe how long he's been in jail with no trial. I mean, it's just kind of crazy, isn't it? Poor guy. All right. So I just want to get to, this is the Ken Klippenstein article. Okay. Sorry, I've got all my screens, I got my readers. I'm gonna have it all happen here. Okay. The ICE shooter's politics. His name is Joshua John. His friends speak. So this is Ken Klippenstein put this out yesterday. So he was on it right away, like no other journalist we even know about. He's the only person. The deadly sniper attack on a Dallas ICE facility this morning seems straightforward, with anti-ICE engraved on unused bullets recovered from the scene, per the FBI. But after interviewing several of the alleged shooter's former friends, the picture isn't so clear. So within minutes of the shooting, FBI Director Kash Patel posted on X, while the investigation is ongoing, an initial review of the evidence shows an ideological motive behind this attack. See photo below. I love that he put sick in there because Kash Patel misspelled ideological. But anyway, so those are the bullets, unused bullets. And the second one in from the left says anti-ICE. You know, that very popular phrase that we all shout at protests, anti-ICE. And then right away, President Trump responded to the shooting by blaming the radical left, vowing to sign another executive order to dismantle what he called domestic terrorism networks. I've been briefed on the deadly shooting at the ICE field office in Dallas, Texas. It has now been revealed the deranged shooter wrote anti-ICE on his shell casings. This is despicable. The brave men and women of ICE are just trying to do their jobs and remove the worst of the worst criminals out of our country. They are facing, I can't read this whole thing. It's just horrific. I am calling, all right, I guess I should, because I'm going to skip to something else. I hate him so much. I never use that word, but golly, he's just awful. Like, he is so despicable the way he is trying to sow division while Democrats are tripping over their dicks trying to embrace his fascism.
They are not tripping over their dicks. Their dicks are too small. I'm just going to put that out there. There's no way they're tripping over their dicks.
Like, they are constantly throwing their whole pretend ideology under the bus. It's amazing. This violence is the result of the radical left Democrats constantly demonizing law enforcement, calling for ICE to be demolished. And I think he meant abolished, and comparing ICE officers to Nazis. We've got another, by the way, what are those called? Those TMSR? No, what's the thing that makes you the clink and the clank? The
ASMR?
Yeah,
Audio,
another video that will show.
Right.
Like, they are reveling in the cruelty of arresting these people who are by and large just hardworking people who are coming here trying to make a better life, often escaping the conditions that we caused in their home countries. So it is just, again, layer after layer of atrocities being committed against these people. The continuing violence from the radical left terrorists in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination must be stopped. ICE officers and other brave members of law enforcement are under grave threat. And we have already declared Antifa a terrorist organization. I will be signing an executive order this week to dismantle these domestic terrorism networks, which is a joke. There is no organization called Antifa. I mean,
yeah, he's going to be able to report a win on this one because we looked, they're all gone. We got them.
Well done. Well done. Winning, mission accomplished. President Donald J. Trump. I'm calling on all Democrats to stop this rhetoric against ICE and America's law enforcement right now. The Trump administration is fully committed to backing law enforcement, strong borders, securing our homeland, deporting violent illegal criminals, and fully rooting out the left-wing domestic terrorism that is terrorizing our country. Thank you for your attention to this matter. He didn't do that in the first regime, but he signs off on everything this way now, huh? Yeah. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
He doesn't even make his tweets. He has people write his tweets that then they know his tone and make it look stupid and capitalized. They misspell things on purpose. Like, it's just they are playing to, like, no one thinks their audience is as dumb as they do.
Yeah. I don't even know that they can. I mean, yeah, I guess so. I also think, I don't know. My goodness. I mean, we are really just at a different level here. I honestly can't believe the last 4 decades of my life. Okay. So
for him out there calling, obviously, for dropping the rhetoric because your rhetoric just got some ICE people shot. Well, meanwhile, he's just out there calling immigrants evil, Democrats evil, everyone else other than him is evil at a funeral celebration of the like of Charlie Kirk. He's saying, yeah, I hate my enemies. And this is the guy now saying, tone down the rhetoric, you bad Democrats.
Yeah. And the same with, JD Vance getting on right after Charlie Kirk's murder and saying, no, there will be no unity between the left and the right.
The same guy who yesterday was saying, hey, the Democrats need to stop calling everyone Hitler. And we showed all the videos of him talking about Trump. Calling himself Trump Hitler. So it's all just so ridiculous.
It is so ridiculous. Did you see this? Like 1,200 immigrants who were held in Alligator Alcatraz are now missing. Miami Herald is reporting about 2/3 of the 1,800 immigrants who were held in the ICE jail in July have gone missing from ICE's online database, their families unable to locate them. Like,
okay, this is where Democrats actually have some power to do something, right? You can get investigations started. You can call people before Congress and hold hearings on these matters. I mean, why is I've seen a lot of these hearings lately. I haven't seen one on any of the ICE stuff at all. I guess this is a huge issue to not have discussed.
It is horrific because, of course, I mean, there's all of our minds go so many different places. First of all, many of them might have been shipped off to third countries that aren't even their home, that they have no connection to. Libya was offered up as another possible destination. And what was it, like 75 or 80% had no criminal records at all? Some of them are American citizens.
And the percentage that is actual violent criminality, violent crimes on their record is minuscule.
2F, thank you. Trump's a communist, like you're a Fox News announcer. We should get you a job at Fox News. Thank you. Cheers for the super chat. Okay, so so speaking of Democrats, I'm bobbing and weaving today. It's the one effect that Trump has had on me. There was a profile.
The fact about the matter, sorry, I've learned to speak Joe Biden doing this podcast.
Oh, God.
The fact of the matter is, I say that way too much. I'm trying to tone it out.
There was a profile of Senator Chris Van Hollen in the Washington Post. And, he's been pretty good since Trump got into office. He's done some things where he talks about, where he pushed back even on Biden, and he got flack from the Biden administration, pushed back on Biden's handling or bear hug of Netanyahu. And he would say that we have to stop sending them arms since they're blocking aid, but then he would vote along with sending them arms. So he's not my hero, but then just in these past few months, he went down to El Salvador, to El Salvador, because one of his constituents was Abrego Garcia, and he got a lot of flack again. And he says in here, the job is not worth it if you constantly have to be putting your finger to the wind, Van Hollen said. Going to El Salvador, for example, was instinct. If I had to listen to the pundits, I would never have gone, he added, noting that California Governor Gavin Newsom, a rumored 2028 presidential contender at the time, called Abrego Garcia's case a distraction, though Newsom has since come around now on the need to fight on these fundamental issues of democracy. But yes, to your point, these are human rights violations. They are not distractions. The distraction is Gavin Newsom making reels of himself throwing away the last few dear possessions of homeless people in their encampments, right?
Which connects directly to ICE, though. It's the same thing in a way. You're taking the people that you've just decided you don't like to see and making them not visible anymore, right? And that's why, it ties into all the eugenics with RFK Jr.'s policies. And we're just like, hey, homeless people, we're going to put you in jail. Immigrants, you're going to 1,200 of you are just going to disappear with no due process at all. Like, who knows where you are? Nobody can reach anybody.
Disabled people on a registry. I mean,
registry.
Yeah. This was the latest ICE promo video from DHS. I just cannot believe things like this are being put out from the administration. I mean, I know I can believe it, of course, but it is just none of this should be acceptable on any level, and Democrats should be screaming about all of it.
I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test, to train them is my cause. I will travel across the land, search
Pokemon go to the polls.
Goddamn gross. And for Democrats to not pick up that fight, that's why they're losing. Because if there's one thing the left doesn't like, it's all this ICE shit in Palestine, obviously, both those issues. But like, if you're not moving on Palestine and you're going to pretend it's some safety issue for the United States, which it is obviously not, it's not in our interest. You can't even in California fight this shit with ICE. Like, you know,
really gross.
This and the ICE is the most visual, tangible policy of fascism that you have to react to, and the Democrats aren't reacting to it.
They aren't. And I thought another interesting part of this piece on Senator Van Hollen was there was, part of the reason that, these pathetic Democrats didn't want him going down to El Salvador and dealing with Abrego Garcia was they were worried that possibly he is a criminal and shouldn't be here and it might muddy the waters. And Trump called Van Hollen a grandstander. Some Democrats worried about defending an immigrant accused of gang ties. But when somebody asks you about a fundamental core issue like due process, the answer can't be, well, let's talk about the price of groceries instead, Van Hollen said. Soon, even influential pro-Trump podcaster Joe Rogan was taking up the cause of some of the prisoners sent without trial to the Salvadoran prison, showing that defending core constitutional rights had broader appeal, Van Hollen said. There's a real sense, which I share, that Democrats have been overly cautious, finger to the wind, don't really stand for anything. And I think...
he called it. I mean, that's just accurate. Come on.
We need a Joe Rogan of the left. Just fucking fight for something that you stand for, that you have some conviction and courage to back it up.
And obviously we all understand this, but like that commercial, it's just brown people getting arrested. It's not like, if you really are touting how much you're making the streets safer for us all, you would have, boom, stamped below this guy, convicted of 3 murders and blah, blah, blah. This guy, boom, this thing. But no, these are just people you see that are brown getting arrested. And that's a highlight.
Yeah. And it's something nobody feels safer. Actually, nobody feels safer with this, because even if you don't care about other people, you're seeing that it's also happening to U.S. citizens. It's happening to people who actually even look like you. That nurse, that like white redheaded nurse in Los Angeles being slammed down to the ground. There was, Brad Lander, is he the city controller in New York? Has been arrested now either 2 or 3 times at ICE agencies. There are 2 different people running for Congress, young women running for Congress in Chicago's District 10, I think. This is Kat Abugadzela. I'm going to say her name wrong. She's protesting. This is how ICE treats her, white, blonde, U.S. accent. No reason to throw her to the ground like that. And then the other person.
But wait, just so people know, she's running for office. She's a regular pundit now on CNN, not working for CNN.
Like they bring her on. Yeah.
They bring her on to represent progressive left. And she's mostly good on the left stuff. She's kind of been not perfect, but to get on CNN, that's pretty good. She's pretty left to be on CNN. Just want to throw that out there.
Wait, what do you mean she's pretty left to be on CNN? Wait, I just want to understand what you're saying.
I'm saying she's actually fairly progressive in her values, and she defends progressive values.
Them, yeah. I think the person further to her left is Bushra Amawala, who of course isn't brought to CNN. But yes, I agree. I think I don't know enough about this race because wasn't she like a TikTok influencer or something? I don't know. Whatever. You can have good. I mean, I need to look into it before I fully endorse. But like the same day, the other person running for Congress in the same district, I'm missing her name. She was tear gassed. Sorry. I'm so sorry. I just don't want to say it wrong. Bushra Amawala. The whole crowd was tear gassed for standing there protesting.
Yeah, they threw her around too. There's a video of it. They threw her around, and she's just standing, sort of walking away, not going violently at anyone on any level, and they just come up to her and spray her in the face from inches away from her eyeballs.
So, like, how do you not look at that and say that, like, how are we supposed to talk about them? Those ICE officers who have masked their faces, who are overly violent with people, who revel in the cruelty, who don't show a warrant, who cover up their badges, who don't tell people where they're taking them to, who kidnap them off the street, throw them in, like, that is Gestapo behavior.
And if you want to get conspiracy theory, regardless of if there's an actual motivation, true conspiracy of the shooting at the ICE facility, they're definitely going to lean into this. And it does sync up right after California passed a no mask policy for the federal agents who are arresting people. So here's an event that stokes sympathy for ICE in theory, like, hey, ICE people, it's dangerous. These people are at huge risk, so they need to cover their face. So I'm just saying it does track that something like this could happen, pushed by notoriously not evil Israel.
Wait, you're saying that maybe, so sorry,
sorry, am I all over the place?
Bushra Amawala is the name of the other congressional candidate. Truth to tweet. Sorry, I just need to get that. Okay, I'm not sure exactly. I don't totally understand what you're saying. That who's using this? Sorry, will you say it again?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you want to promote ICE and you want to promote and preserve fascism, this week California passed the mask rule where ICE federal agents have to disclose who they are.
Yes.
They have to carry a badge. They can't cover their face other than wearing riot shields in certain situations. Right. So here's an event, the shooting that gins up sympathy for ICE. If you're a federal agent and you're like, well, somebody should write anti-ICE on a bullet, so I'm just saying, it does track. And regardless of if it's actually a conspiracy and that actually happened, it all could have happened. And then they're like, we need to beef it up a little bit, write anti-ICE on the bullet, because it fuels into exactly what they want.
But you would think that they might at least do a quick Google search of what people who are actually anti-ICE do or say, which is not anti-ICE, which goes back to, okay, so let's say that this is real and he really did write this. Going back to Ken Klippenstein's article, what he said was that the friends in real life that this guy had basically stopped hanging out with him because he became so antisocial. His jokes, like rape jokes, and like so uncomfortable. It was all about like the shit posting kind of vibe of nihilism, like just do something that makes everybody uncomfortable and kind of hate you, and then that justifies why you don't have any friends, and they can't take a joke, or it's like all that sort of stuff. And that they said he was not political, and that if anything, that would have been sort of a dig at the left, including like, I guess his handle in his gaming rooms. Oh my God, this black fly. In his gaming rooms was impeach one or something, which they thought would have been his like ironic nod. Not that he was like a Trump supporter, but that he just wasn't really political. He was more just reveled in being like sort of offensive and antisocial.
Right. Well, I could see that. And, I play Call of Duty. That's my one video game. That's my one, because of the, because I actually protect myself and stay away from, bars and things like that now, I'm very competitive. And that's the one thing, that's where I'm like, I need to do something competitive. Pandemic hit, I got more into it than before.
Yeah.
But I just want to say that that space is rampant with racists like you have no idea. and they're in the gamer tag titles. They're in the clan tag, which is another thing you can put next to it. And it's just overt racism all over the damn place. And, you know, this is a thing where people talk on headsets to each other.
Right.
And it's just accepted in that world. It's really fucking gross. I mean, I push back on it every time I hear it, but
do you shoot at cops or at criminals?
No, it's like a war thing. You against some other team. Nobody has any sort of, you're not
Grand
Russians,
Theft
I'm not
Auto. That's what I was
America.
thinking of, Grand Theft Auto.
It's just
Yeah.
it's a shooting game.
Okay.
It's a 6-on-6 shooting game kind of thing.
Yeah.
Usually. But anyway, my point is that space, which is where the lonely male epidemic or whatever, they're in this space. And this space is run over by overt racist white supremacists.
Yeah. And the ones that he had befriended, he became even too, like, they were intolerable even for them. So
right.
There's nothing that indicates he was a leftist, but there's not a single mainstream journalist who's digging into it the way Ken Klippenstein is, right? Like, they are not going to find out who this guy really was. They are taking the bullet that says anti-ICE, which, again, even if he is the one who wrote it, it seems, at least according to his friends who knew him, that would have been sort of an ironic dig at the left, that like edgelord humor.
Right.
I mean,
but we know Democrats aren't going to come out to get to the truth, because that would make them look like they're defending their guy or something.
Yeah.
And they also want all this fascism. This is going to increase and enable, you know, they want the surveillance state, because the loudest voice coming after these MAGA right people are us progressives.
Yep. And that is truly their only objective. I just wanted to see if we have any other. Oh, the other thing, I don't know. Do you watch The Bear? I love The Bear.
I've never seen The Bear. It seems so unappealing. I know people love it, but
I love it. I really love it. It's just like lots of heart and working class issues, and I just love it. Anyway, one of the guys who writes for it, who, you know, has won an Emmy for writing for it, is a black guy on a train, and some old white lady just didn't like the way he looked, called the cops, and he gets arrested. So like we're at a point now where, like, if you are black or brown, certainly or if you are not native born US citizen, you have a mark on your back. And anybody, you know, it's that whole thing, like, you know, a few years ago, everybody was talking about the Karens and, you know, remember the bird watcher in Central Park, and just because the guy was black and the woman, you know, was freaking out and, you know, oh, he's making me feel uncomfortable. And then all the protests against a genocide was making Zionist Jews feel uncomfortable, that anybody was saying, you know, free Palestine. So just like the discomfort of somebody else having an existence is enough now to summon the cops and have somebody hauled away. And
yeah, I mean, the number of Karen videos that I see every week of somebody just outside a car and like, I'm going to get you arrested. And why?
What are you doing in this neighborhood? Do you live here?
I'm brown.
Is that really your apartment building? You have to show your papers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if that's their definition of freedom, it's crazy. It is truly crazy.
You know, I think we need a commercial break for a pup or something.
Let's do it.
What do you think?
Yeah, we got a couple.
Let's go with I don't know, Halloween pups. I haven't seen that one. This is what you pulled this one.
That might be a truth to treat one.
Oh, is it? That was good.
walking. It's the best. On 2 legs.
Chucky.
I love those so much. Thank you, Toot the Tweet. Those are so cute. Director of demonetization. It says, my mom is always on Nextdoor and all those Karens got her thinking she's going to be unalived in her bed. I hate that app. Me too. I signed up for it because I was like, oh, but people might be like, it will be talking about like what things that are happening in the community. Like if there's a farmer's market, whatever. I didn't know. That's all it is. It's just like tattling
Gary
on
Brown person.
Yeah. Hey, have you seen this person walking down the street? Have you seen this guy? Oh, this like.
Yeah. Joe's water has been on for an extra hour. Does he know watering ends at 11?
He painted his door red. Red is not allowed in the community. Oh my God. Crazy stuff. Okay. So just wanted to revisit Kamala, who we covered that big story on her or not big story, but her book release that came out, and the reaction to it, the response is mostly like, from everybody, like everybody. Chris Cillizza, this is hilarious to me. Wait, Chris Cillizza, this is terrible gossip and a side note, but it was his fiance, Olivia Nuzzi, who had like a sexting affair with RFK Jr. last year, right? And she's the writer for, she was let go, but she was a writer for something, I don't know. Anyway, who cares? Okay, Chris Cillizza says, let's be honest, Kamala Harris is not now, nor has she ever been, a good candidate. Her re-entry into the political world this week has reminded me of this fact. She's not good on her feet. She's inauthentic. She speaks in word salads. She has never demonstrated an ability to appeal to people not already for her. I just posted a big takedown of Harris. Read it at the link in my bio or in the link in the next tweet. And just as a reminder, this was Chris Cillizza in 2018 proclaiming that Kamala Harris is the new Democratic frontrunner. She's demonstrated
I just
her
noticed
chops.
that the co-author of that was Harry Enton, who we showed yesterday, going over her numbers. And I don't know what he said exactly, but he compared her to the Titanic, like a non-starter, something like that.
Yeah. Man, I want a
they
job
both
at one
provided cover last year.
Yeah.
Last year for her.
It's amazing. Like nothing matters. You don't ever, because it would be one thing if he tried to make amends for any of this, but no, it's that whole like finger in the wind. Like, oh, now it's okay to say that she sucks. Okay. We're all just going to stop.
Yeah. Well, it's really just like sports. Like, in the real world, you want analysts to get things right.
Yeah.
But in sports, if you come on and you say the Celtics are going to win this year every year, but if you're entertaining, nobody gives a shit. And that's the same for the news. These guys, they don't have to be right. They just have to spread the right narratives at the right times.
Yep.
Once in a while, they can have an opinion, but like once it gets to election time, you got to get on board with the messaging. And that's all that matters. You get dialed in. Your free speech as a reporter at this network gets cranked to zero once an election comes around.
It's insane. And that should also be such a instructive moment for everybody to know that these people who are paid pundits are what they're spewing is what's being hand-fed them by the ruling elite. Thank you for correcting me, Ryan Lizza. You are absolutely right. My apologies to Chris Cillizza.
Wrong Lizza.
Yeah, wrong Lizza.
Well, but I was just watching CNN last night and they had Jeffrey Toobin on. He's back to Toobin, Toobin, who was the Toobin guy on air with his colleagues who had to come on air.
Yes, he did. He had to come on air. He certainly did.
I didn't mean to even say that.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you ever are bored, just watch the interview again where he had to come on and confess to masturbating with his colleagues on air.
I mean,
but how do you rebuild a guy like that to the biggest network? Like you can't find anyone else who can do science stuff,
right?
Legal stuff. What?
That's crazy.
It's such a small.
Like Brian Williams. How does Brian Williams has a job? Like he lied about being under, fire, and had to like rush to the helicopter or whatever when he was in Iraq. I mean, it was some preposterous lie that he was called out on. And he's he's supposed to be delivering the news. I hate it even when news people are cast in movies and shows. Like, I just feel like that's a line I
hate it too, and you can just count on it in any new movie. You're going to see Wolf Blitzer or Don Lemon, especially Don Lemon now. I've seen him in a couple because he's not working for a network. So he doesn't have to get that released. He can just take that cash and people think of him as a network guy still.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he's the new go-to for a fake newscaster.
But like, that to me would be one of the things that I would put if I owned a news media network.
Yeah.
I would say that's not allowed while you're delivering the news. Like, there has to be some level of gravitas, and this isn't fake. Like, I'm not just a paid actor saying lines that have been handed to me from the State Department.
100% agree with you. Yeah.
Okay, so Kamala leaked that she and Zohran Mamdani spoke by phone, and she expressed support for Mamdani's bid for New York City mayor while acknowledging they don't agree on everything. Has anybody asked?
Okay.
What don't you agree on? Which thing? Like, which thing?
Well, and if there's one endorsement you don't want next to Hillary's, it's hers.
Jeffries.
Let's be real.
Yeah. There was also a paid ad campaign or an ad campaign, an anti-Zohran PAC, where they used stock photos of people that were cast they weren't cast. When you do a stock photo, struggling actors, models, whatever, you just take photos and you sign away your rights. You get a couple $100 for the day, and they can use it on anything. Actually, I have a friend who, this was like 30 years ago. He did that when he first came to LA, and he was gay, but had not yet come out to his parents. And one of his photos ended up on a book that said like how to come out to your parents or something. And he hadn't done it specifically for that book. They just like went to the stock photo, they used it, and his mom saw the episode. Whoa, did you just do that?
I did, because these are stock photos. This meme is a stock photo shoot. There's a whole you can find this on stock photos, and there's like 10 different pictures of this couple.
That's so
this
funny.
One became a meme. I'm sorry.
Anyway, the mom on 6 Feet Under was reading it one time, and my friend's mother was watching the show and saw it, and there's her son on a book, How to Come Out to Your Parents, and he had anyway. But so yeah, this Twitter person whose name is blocked, Eric Thor, but noticed that all of these people were actually in other campaigns, because he did like Google searches for their photos, and it was all like, he seems nice, but I could just never vote for Zohran. So acting as though they're actual voters, like real people, you can't even find the people to be part of your $250,000 ad drop is,
Yeah, and it's probably just they gave AI some prompts to find some people. And they're like, AI, find us a safe-looking black guy. Find a kind old Asian lady, and they all come up with the same response. Like
the exact same thing. They didn't even like change the words. Okay. Is there any other thing specifically that you wanted to talk about? We have a couple of things.
Oh, are you talking about wrapping us up tonight?
Just before because I'm the one sort of bobbing and weaving, and I just want to make sure.
I'm on the ride. We're good.
Okay. So, just to wrap up the Kamala thing, she on her book tour, people protested her yesterday. And it's just so funny to see, the K-Hive will be right there with the MAGA Republicans trying to line us all up into cages, the left. They're just like, why are you protesting her? You're not protesting Trump. First of all, people have protested Trump, but also like, is there a statute of limitations on your responsibility for doing a genocide? Like, is she allowed just to come out in her pantsuit now and enjoy her wine and talk about her 107 days and not have to face the consequences?
And hey, I don't want to ever see you in politics like most of the world. So we're gonna hit every event as much as possible, make it clear that you are not liked, and every Democrat should do that, because the worst thing for Democrats would be to run her. So it's in every Democrat's interest to protest the shit out of her.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Like, to take issue with that is so crazy. And by the way, like, you know, we saw Code Pink protesting JD Vance and Donald Trump at a restaurant. And then he talked about, you know, they're Antifa and terrorists. And I mean, which again is why all of the libs will line up with the fascists and make sure that we are all carted off to those Cop City compounds.
Yeah. And they're going to put some like, hey, you can't bother politicians when they're eating. You can't bother them at sporting events or concerts or musical events. There's going to be all these exceptions that are like somehow privacy rights that, you know, basically the stuff they want to do, they're going to make it illegal to protest them at those things.
Yep.
Or, you know, if you even at a town hall, you have 30 seconds. If you don't comply, you face a month in jail.
I mean, they just won't do town halls is what's going to happen. They just won't do town halls.
Well, that's what they want, but they can criminalize speech if they say, you know, they could pass a rule.
Right.
Like,
Right.
Hey,
if it happens
after a minute, you've said your grief. We make this announcement, like, you know, you have a right to remain silent, but a new announcement that says you have been notified at a town hall that you are a disturbance that is unwelcome. Now you're trespassed. Now you're automatically in jail for a month. That's where we're headed.
Even just like all the barricades. I mean, and like, I understand that there is a need for safety for public figures. I do. But like, to make the ability to interact with the people who are supposed to be representing us, to make us have to go through so many layers of protection to get their ear, it just, you know, I mean, I guess the system's just working as it's intended.
Are you saying you haven't called your congressman and spoken to an AI secretary yet?
Oh my God.
Because that might alleviate all your grievances.
Well, if you were worried about AI and the hands it's in, this is actually crazy to me. This is going to be the biggest bubble, and then we're going to have to bail these billionaire assholes out. 95% of organizations in a new MIT study found zero return despite enterprise investment of $30 to $40 billion into Gen AI per Axios. So we are giving these people government contracts. We are allowing them to take over whole communities, steal their. I just got a water bill for $2,800. I don't like $2,800. And but speaking of AI, I can't call anybody. I call LAWP. They say, oh, you can go online and fill out a form. So I fill out the form and explain. But like, I have receipts. I have, you know, like, who do I talk to? What do I do? And because then they have all the power, they can just turn off our water. It's Department of Water and Power. So like, that's we need that.
And we're headed more and more to, you know, with less choices, the free market, you know, our voting with our dollars is less relevant, right? Which is why, hey, if you don't like your internet and you complain and, well, you don't have another option, right? Okay. So there you go. Yeah, we screwed you over on the bill for $300. Do you want to spend a week of your time on the phone to get $100 of your $300 back?
Yeah.
Or are you going to have the fuckets after endless frustration and knowing there's no option and there's a penalty if you leave us and, you know, blah, 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 blah.
It's like, I feel like it started with the airlines. That was when I first felt like I am paying more money than we can afford just to go like visit family, not do something fancy, just to go see our family. And they treat all of us like shit. Like we're in sardine, little packed in, you know, like,
yeah,
that like each moment that, and now I think it's too late. I mean, it's just too late, you know, but every moment that something like that happens is just another chip away at treating us like human beings who deserve to have dignified lives. And there's no, like, how are you going to get to Cincinnati without Delta?
And they just trial test every terrible idea. Like, you know, it's all just evil. It's all on the surface. Like, how much can they fucking push us with this stuff? Like, have you seen the mock-ups of the standing airlines?
What?
Where you get to lean back. They're considering adding, I don't know how far it's actually gone down the pipeline, but it was one of the CEO's big ideas was this thing where you have a pad back here with arm things and you stay on the flight because they can put more people on a flight if you just stand. Like, you stand on the bus. Some people are standing on the bus. So for short flights, an hour away, maybe you're just going to get a standing ticket and stand for a fucking hour while you fly.
Jesus Christ. That's crazy. I didn't see that. I do know, I mean, obviously, like every time you see what a flight looked like, 50 years ago in regular, just sort of like basic economy, But what they've decided apparently is, because the top 1%, 0.1% has more money. Okay, the top 1% has more money than the whole middle class, right? And then that's not even counting the lower income class. So there's really no profit or return on investment for companies to steer anything towards that whole bottom segment. They're just lucky to be standing on a 6-hour flight, right? Whatever. The way to make money is that top 1% who will pay for everything extra. They don't care. They have billions of dollars. So if it now costs, $70,000 to fly first class to New York, well, I mean, that's what it costs. They're definitely not going to sit back with so like, that's where it's all, everything is being focused on luxury now.
Yeah. The normal, the normal experience is now a prestige, gold, platinum tiered level kind of thing. And, I talked about it before, but my friend Lila, who passed away, but her bucket list was us going on to Europe and to Italy. And
Lola,
so like,
Lola.
Lola, like,
yeah.
Oh, did I?
Yeah, it's okay.
But
I know,
she had all her money saved up. You can't take it with you. So she bought us tickets first class. And holy fuck, what a world where you're laying down in your little cubicle.
Like, why don't people like to fly? This is excellent.
It's amazing. Just an amazing difference between a regular flight. And I'll never be able to afford a flight like that again. But that was just incredible. And
it's
but to go from that to like my wealth, which is like, oh, if there's a standing ticket, I'm probably buying the fucking standing ticket, like, oh,
yeah.
So
it's and those, obviously, like, and you compare that to like, okay, genocide, ICE, just caging people for small drug purchases, or what all the ridiculous focus or actions of our government that totally destroy people's lives. So then talking about something the way Biden, like his big effort, remember it was like Ticketmaster surcharges and automatic what's it called when you get money back, return, credit when your plane is delayed by a certain amount, or if they lose your bags.
Yeah, that's all gone. Even
that's gone. And then also the bag of chips, where it's like, what? My bag's this big, but the chips are all here at the bottom. And all of that seems so ridiculous because it is in comparison to like no healthcare, dilapidated infrastructure, all of that. And you're just like they were just chipping at the edges, but like those things do matter. And those were the first steps to getting here. But at this point, it needs to be so much bigger than like a bigger bag of chips.
No, it's really silly. And but that's the point, is that the small stuff costs us so much relative to our income.
Yep.
And it does make a big difference in like just today, I'm an electrician. We had to run to Ace, which is not the cheapest place to buy stuff, but it's close. So you go to these places sometimes because you got to park real quick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna grab a Red Bull. I grabbed a regular little small size Red Bull, $5. And I'm like, what the fuck? And Snicker bars, $4.
What?
Like, what? Like, that's, I mean, I don't eat that junk normally, but like, I'm just like blown away. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, you can't even have a Snickers bar. That's like a treat. I mean, we never go out to eat anymore. But like, a glass of wine can be like $20. So I just bring my sippy cup.
But that's what I mean. That's what,
yeah.
But this all feeds into the culture of these kids who are all they got is their phones.
Yep.
Because everybody, you need a phone to exist. So somehow you're going to find a way to pay that bill. And once you have that bill, you have TikTok and you have your, and then boom, you're at.
They've siloed everybody.
I don't want to blame phones for things, but like,
it's the focus
we don't
of
have
society,
programs for sports. We're not putting in. There's so many things that we used to have that just aren't a regular thing for people now.
I'm so excited. We're having on next Wednesday, Matthew Solomon, who's a director of documentaries. He did a movie called a documentary, Reimagining Safety. It's so good. It's about abolishing police, defunding police, how we make communities safer, and where you don't need people to be thrown in cages because that doesn't make anybody safer anyway. But so much of it is about the investment in care, in community, and bringing people together. And when you price everybody out of being able to, if there are no free spaces where we can gather, or if the spaces where we can gather are too far away and transit is too expensive, or when you get there, you can't pay for the food or the drinks, like all of that works to making us just, stay in your mother's basement. Well, you forced us all here.
Well, and imagine being young and not having the means to get your own apartment, even like after getting a decent entry-level job that your college degree is supposed to get you.
Yeah.
Like I can't imagine getting your college degree and then having to share an apartment with other roommates. And then you're probably feeling more trapped in that situation with these roommates that you're going to tolerate longer than you would have, because you can't afford you got to save 3 months down payment and the deposit. So you need to have like 20 grand in the bank to get an apartment. I mean, not 20,
but
some places you need like 10 grand to get an apartment.
Yep.
Like, I mean, that's not how it was when we grew up.
No.
Like
I mean, we've just been priced out of regular existence, and it's not like that in other countries. It just isn't. And, so when they talk about like, oh, why are these violent shooters happening? Everything they bring up, yes, we have more guns. And that's, I don't like guns, although as we talk about a lot, it's hard to speak about revolution without guns. But okay. But other countries have guns. Other countries had lockdowns for COVID. Other countries have video games, right? The thing that we have, this anger and isolation, is different. And that is very specifically a US product.
What we have is extreme capitalism. Other countries all have capitalism, but we have the extremist of it because our politicians and our system has just opened the doorways. As of like 15, 20 years ago, every year doesn't just get a little worse than last year. We're amplifying how much worse it gets for everybody at a rate that is untenable.
Yeah, it's that's pretty depressing. Voting and peaceful protests are weapons used by the oligarchy to suppress the masses. Right. If voting changed anything, they wouldn't let us do it. The peaceful protests are parades, basically. And they still smash people's heads in. It's crazy. Going back to the AI part of it, there have been some actual wins that have not yet been overridden by the people in power in communities. I can't remember the latest one where it was, but where the communities come together and protest against these enormous data centers. This is a little different, but in Ohio, the fire chief there was saying that so these huge data centers are not only subsidized, of course, by the government, tax incentives, just like all the Amazon warehouses were, but the fire chief said, there's no value added to our community from these data centers, Amazon Web Services, and they continue to be a drain on local and regional resources every day. Over the past 3 to 4 years, we have continuously advised Amazon and your contractors of these issues. It falls on deaf ears. The very lives of your employees and the lives of my firefighters are at stake, and no one at AWS seems to care. We have the same issue here in California this past January with the wildfires, where what came out in addition to not Procter and Gamble, what's our PGE? What the electric service? Not Procter.
SMUD, PG&E.
Yeah, but why am I saying Procter and Gamble? It's not, whatever. Anyway, yeah, PG&E, who would,
Pacific Gas and Electric.
Yeah,
Is that what you're looking for?
It's gas and electric, but it's Pacific Gas and Electric.
Pacific Gas and Electric. Yes,
that they had been fine. Yeah, they're always fine because they have not updated their infrastructure, and all their wires should be underneath the ground. They're not. They're above, and then they get frayed. A tree branch hits, it sparks, and it starts. So that's one part of it, and that has been happening every year for like the last 10 years. And every time they're fined, they pay the fine. Instead, that's their punishment, instead of being forced to invest money into,
well, not only pay the fine, they justify your increases in your rates because they have to pay the fine.
Yeah. Just
so
like
and then you have lobbyists, you have lobbyists and politicians out there saying, I would love to punish PG&E more. Bullshit, obviously.
Yeah.
But that would just get passed on the consumers who can't afford the rate increase. Well, you can pass legislation that says you can't pay out dividends. You can't have record profits at the top until you do X and Y. How
about my $2,800 water bill? Fuckers.
You can
exactly
force them to not increase wages. I mean,
it's just like such a huge amount of the police budget for every city is paying out the claims against the police department.
Right.
So like they do something despicable, you sue them, and then it still is all of our same money, just always going back to the same people.
Right. And and this is capitalism. And what I was saying about it all just escalates and goes faster and faster. These water centers are being built in impoverished cities that need a lot of money because they can't afford police in their cities. Right. So the mayor takes these groups in. They get a great upfront loaded stack of cash that they put to all the police force. And now everybody's over policed in an area where there aren't jobs, because this is a fucking AI center. That's not a job fucking factory. Yeah. It's a fucking bunch of stacked computer servers.
Yep. That's polluting your air, stealing your water, and destroying your brain.
Yeah. But all you have is police. And then the police force is always going to want more money than last year because crime has gotten even worse,
which is a lie, it's always a lie. That's a lie. We're like at a 50-year low. And this is something that Alec Karakatsanis always talks about, is like, which are the crimes we focus on? And those stories told on the news are produced by the PR departments of the police departments. So they only focus on the shoplifting or the car vandalism. They don't talk about the pollution that kills, millions of people every year or destroys their health. They don't talk about the wage theft. They don't, they don't focus on that. But like, if every day they said, oh, look at what Jeff Bezos and Amazon did to this little boy. He has asthma. Look at this person whose water is, like we see on Status Quo and Jordan Sheridan going to Flint, Michigan and East Palestine, Ohio to cover that. And that if the major news were doing that every day, hey, this is what your governor is allowing to happen to your water. And then it's poison. And then like we know, lead poisoning actually has, many health is detrimental to your health on so many different levels. It also actually makes people commit crimes sometimes. Like it actually, the heightened poison in people's bodies actually adds to that. So none of this is to prevent crime.
But here's capitalism, and here's where this administration is so openly gross and anti-science that we're bringing back asbestos. And the chemicals that they replaced Roundup with are worse than the Roundup. Like that's what's happening here in our society right now.
That's banned in Europe. Roundup and Monsanto, all of that banned. So but okay, so I think it was Justin, sorry, but who wrote about the Google Sorry. It might be the runs. I can't remember, but sorry about how the default on Google now is AI, and you can click it off on each individual search, which is really annoying. But if you switch, the one I use is DuckDuckGo, and you can that can be your total default is no AI. And that way you don't get any AI results at all, which I like. But yeah.
Yeah, same.
Okay, so as they are stealing, all of our resources and putting us out of work, it'd be good to hear from the people we are subsidizing to destroy our planet and further push the US into ruin. Sam Altman, the genius of OpenAI, trying to explain what this is all about and why we need it. And I'm sure you all feel much comforted by his explanation.
The scale of this project. 100 billion is a small dent in it. And the numbers are also like, they're missing the story of what this amount of infrastructure is capable of doing. Like 10 gigawatts of compute, again, easy to throw around numbers like that. But the amount of work it takes to build that out, the size and scale of these multi-square mile gigantic things and the complexity at every level of the supply chain, and then what that amount of brain power, which does not exist today, can do already today. What it will do is the models get better. Like, this is the real deal. This is the thing people have been waiting for. They talk about AI or when it's going to do this and when it's going to do that. Like, the stuff that will come out of this super brain will be remarkable in a way I think we don't really know how to think about yet.
100 billion is a small dent. Now you sound like President Trump. And
one way to contextualize the scale of what we're talking about and the compute scarcity of the world that we're heading towards. ChatGPT today, you talk to it, it gives you answers. But clearly you want an agent that's going to go do work for you proactively while you're asleep, be able to organize your calendar or go, try to work on projects for you. Sure. And so you really want every person to be able to have their own dedicated GPU. Right, so you're talking order of 10 billion GPUs we're going to need. This deal we're talking about, it's for millions of GPUs. Like, we're still 3 orders of magnitude off of where we need to be. So we're doing our best to provide compute availability, but we're heading to this world where the whole economy is powered by compute, and it's going to be a compute scarce one.
So Sam,
John, remember, this new project that we're talking about, 10 gigawatts, or roughly 4 million, 5 million GPUs. That's approximately, in one project, what we shipped all year this year, okay? And twice as much as last year, twice as much as the year before that. And so that kind of puts it in perspective. This is a giant project.
And
for what? Every person needs somebody who's going to be doing things for you while you're sleeping. Like, what are they doing? For what?
Do they not know that us poors don't have to really worry about, like, my calendar is hey, I work, I got to get up at 8. I mean, like, this whole AI's in my calendar. Are you what? I don't need a GPU. You gonna find me Red Bulls at a price that I can afford? Is that what you're gonna do for me? You're just putting us out of work, dude.
They're putting us out of work. Sick fucks. They're using all of our energy, our water. I love that, like, at the Amazon facilities where they have robots, they make sure that they have air conditioning. At other Amazon facilities where people are breaking their backs, they don't, and people are like passing out from 109 degrees in the warehouse. So they're just all
and
awful.
They need, and we've mentioned this, but they need, it's not just like, hey, they need water. They need the water that we drink. They need drinking water level safety, clarity.
So Flint can have the brown dirty water because that's just people.
But if you're in Flint, look, you're going to have a GPU dedicated to you.
I actually don't think
you
that
sell your rabbits that you're killing to survive.
In their imagination, I don't think they're including us in the people who need the GPU.
Oh, of course not. But
they're just telling us that
they
our
did in the
sacrifice
numbers.
is worth it for them.
They did in the numbers. They're saying we all need a dedicated GPU.
Yeah. Ugh. All right. Is there anything else? We have a couple other things we could show, but also we kind of covered what's happening right now. Is there anything else before we show one more fun, or not fun, but like a good feeling video?
No, I think we got on enough tonight. We'll be back on Sunday with Shama Swant. Amazing.
Shama Swant, we are so excited. Yeah, socialist city councilwoman from Seattle who is now running in Washington State against Adam Smith. So we for Senate, we are very excited to have her on Sunday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. This is just another example of what solidarity can do for you. There was I can't remember his name, Alex Colson, I think it's his name. He writes for Drop Point, Brian Grimm and Jeremy Scahill's media outlet, and he's on one of the flotillas. He called in for an interview today, and the way he was talking about the, because Ryan and Crystal were saying, like, are you scared for your own safety? Because clearly Israel will kill anybody they want. They've already labeled you as terrorists. And, he said, yes, we're sort of scared, but also there's a bigger project and people who are dealing with so much more. But also there is such a sense of community and solidarity because we are all together working for something we really believe in. And it was just really palpable. And it's what we've been talking about, like the counterbalance, the remedy for this lonely existence of anger is to come together. So we're not going out on this, but just to show it, and then we'll come back to say goodbye.
If you jam our lines, send your drones at night. Honey, we all see your hypocrisy. You target activists, but we won't bow down. You call us terrorists while you bomb whole towns. Now you're all alone, cause your bullshit cover's blown and the whole world sees your psychopathy. And we'll do our very best to expose your crimes. And we'll never, ever rest, no Palestine. And we'll break the siege. We will break the siege. Break the siege. Free Palestine!
Cheers to them. So deeply impressed with what they're doing, and it does feel, a little hopeful that there are some Navy vessels joining them to protect them. So all eyes.
The Navy vessels joining them. They also have the, as we showed last night, the people in Italy, between Italy and was it Portugal
Spain.
and Italy?
Spain
and Italy, threatening to block the trade routes, which is a major trade route through Europe, if anything happens to the flotilla. So we need more of that to secure their safety.
Yes. And yes, that was Tad Hickey, who is a comedian, and he's great, was one of the guys, the bald guy, kind of reddish guy, and he's fantastic, a great follow. And I am so inspired by them. Thanks, you guys, for hanging out with us. Really looking forward to Sunday with Shama Swant. We love you all. Keep punching up.
Cheers from my invisible beer.